feel separates Comic-Con as an esports venue from anywhere else you've played?
It's not too different actually from most esports events. It's very common for tournaments to be held at convention centers. So I would say this is actually quite standard for an esports event. But of course,
a lot more costumes.
Yeah, you can say that. Yeah, that's not as common. Usually, the conventions are about technology, but costumes not so much. That's the first time I've been to a StarCraft II tournament that has, so many cosplayers going around.
What impact, from a big picture perspective, do you feel League of Legends selling out Staples Center will have on esports, especially with the mainstream that aren't familiar with it yet?
StarCraft II used to be like the major esports title, but League of Legends has easily claimed that afterwards. I don't think it's necessarily a bad development because more and more people are getting into esports, and I always like to think it's almost like music. Some artists might be less popular than others, but people always follow what they like. And if more people start listening to music as a result of some popular band, or if more people start watching esports because of how popular League of Legends is, then that's also going to impact StarCraft II positively. So it doesn't really matter to me how big League of Legends is in comparison. I just think it's great that more and more people are getting into esports.
What impact have you seen the expansions for StarCraft II have on esports?
From what I've seen, every time the expansion is released, there is a bit of hype around it, and new viewers are actually pulled in. So from what I know, it definitely has a positive impact on the amount of viewers. I think the last year the viewer count has been somewhat stable, maybe slightly increasing. So I think the fact that Blizzard is releasing new expansions for the game definitely helps the game so that it doesn't stagnate, so that there's always something new, always something fresh. So it's definitely very good for the scene that the games are updated frequently.
Where do you see esports if you look ahead 5 years from now?
That's a good question. I think it's only going to get bigger from here as more and more people get into it. Computer games have always been big, and esports, it's maybe not something that a lot of people are familiar with, but I think with broadcasting services like Twitch TV and streaming online, I think the accessibility of esports has just improved and improved. So I think because of that, because of more and more people getting broadband connections, 10 years ago we didn't even have connections powerful enough to watch each other play online. So I think in 5 years, even more people will be into esports, even more people will be playing games, broadcasting their games. I think there will be even more tournaments, even more viewers, even more fans, and even more hype. So I think it's going to be great.